interesting story here, Emily. Yes, some really big stories coming out of Northern Ireland overnight. If we look first of all at individual personalities and in terms of name recognition, Nigel Dodds, who Christian was talking about, obviously a DUP deputy leader, party Westminster leader, intimately involved in those discussions, confidence and supply discussions with Theresa May and discussions with Boris Johnson, losing his Belfast North seat after almost 20 years. And that going to John Finucane of Sinn Féin. So a shift there from a Brexit supporting unionist to a Remain supporting nationalist, and that very much reflects the broader picture here in Northern Ireland, where we now have a majority of MPs who are nationalists and a majority of MPs who support Remain. But let's discuss that point that you were making and the broader issues here with Sam McBride, who's the political editor of the newsletter. Sam, morning to you. I mean, let's get your overview of what's happened overnight. You were saying some really sensational stories.
So this has been a calamitous result for the DUP in particular and for unionism in general. This has been a night where they have lost, in DUP's case, 2 seats which were very important to them, particularly Nigel Dodds. He was a key strategist for the DUP, one of their big strategic brains, as well as their Westminster leader. They have seen their influence at Westminster evaporate overnight. They have seen Scotland go towards nationalism. They have seen for the first time in the history of the Northern Ireland state a majority of nationalists, as you say, return to Westminster. And whereas this might be seen as a party political catastrophe for the DUP, it's much wider than that. This is not votes going from the DUP to the Ulster Unionist Party or some other unionist party. This is votes leaving unionism as an ideology, either by not coming out to vote and therefore nationalists being elected, or going to the Centrist Alliance Party.
Votes leaving unionism as an ideology because of Brexit. I mean, Emily was making the point that there have been comments suggesting that whereas unionists might have thought the main fear they used to have was from Irish nationalism, it's been from English nationalism actually that's making the difference now.
I think that the DUP have been particularly slow to realise how vulnerable they are to English nationalism in particular. Some of them did realise it, some of them did not back Brexit, but there was a sense that they blindly followed Boris Johnson, even after he betrayed them earlier this year. They then, in Arlene Foster's case, basically backed him to be leader, and then backed him for a second time, and were betrayed a second time. So there were very difficult questions for the leadership of the DUP at this point. Arlene Foster would be under intense pressure because she had presided over 3 years, if you like, of a series of calamities. This is perhaps the gravest, and the question now is, will she survive in these circumstances, having done so up until now?
A very interesting question, Sam. Thank you very much, Sam McBride from the newsletter. And now that Northern Ireland has 3 Remain MPs who will take their seats at Westminster on those green benches, unlike the Sinn Féin MPs who have an abstentionist policy, the question is, given Boris Johnson's big majority, whether those 3 Northern Ireland Remain MPs, 2 SDLP, 1 Alliance, can actually make that point of view heard with that big majority for Boris Johnson. Back to you, Liz.
Thanks, Anita. They certainly won't be part of the maths this time around, that's for sure. Well, joining us now, Gavin Barwell, former Downing Street Chief of Staff to Theresa May, Dan Carden, the Labour Shadow International Development Secretary, welcome to you, Dan, and Nigel Farage, the Brexit Party leader. Dan, I'm going to start with you if I can. Do you blame Jeremy Corbyn?
No, I don't. It's a heartbreaking result for the Labour Party, but I think it shows that the Brexit divisions across the country have not been solved, and I think we paid a price for that. I mean, every Labour MP who lost their seat this morning won their seat in Jeremy Corbyn's leadership in 2017. The difference was we had a manifesto that accepted the referendum result back in 2017, and it's that position that has slowly changed over the last couple of years.
And it shouldn't have changed, you're saying?
I think moving towards a second referendum and making ourselves look like the Remain party, we paid a price for that in our working class heartlands up north and across the Midlands.
Because even that strategy wasn't clear. I mean, the extraordinary thing is that from John McDonnell at sort of 10 past 10 last night to you at 10 o'clock this morning, the message has just been one of, it seems, sort of absolute denial, which is it was all about Brexit and we just weren't capable of fighting the Tories on Brexit. I mean, what happened to your party last night? What happened with the leadership? What happened to ignoring everyone telling you how badly you were going to do because there was no trust in Jeremy Corbyn and no sense of what he was about. At what stage do you start saying this was an appalling defeat, and we've really got to look at ourselves because we were warned about this all the way along?
Well, of course we do have to look at ourselves and review our policies, review everything over the last couple of years and where the Labour Party goes forward. I don't think we lost Labour heartlands because we were
You
promising
lost 2.5 million votes in 2 years. I mean, that must be a record, isn't it?
I don't think we lost Labour heartlands because we were promising to renationalise the NHS or invest in our communities or promising a £10 an hour minimum wage.
So
I
you
think
didn't win them. Why
we
not?
lost trust over the issue of Brexit, and in the end, whereas we thought we could move on from the issue of Brexit, have a radical, bold agenda that would hopefully move us away from that issue and seek to unite the country.
So do you blame the sort of vocal Remainers on your front bench then? I'm just trying to get a sense of, at some stage you must be thinking, we shouldn't have done that, Emily Thornberry shouldn't have spoken out, Keir Starmer shouldn't have spoken out, or Jeremy Corbyn was toxic and we should have listened to all those people who told us that. Which is it?
Well, in a way it's both, Emily, because I travel around the marginal seats a lot during this campaign, and of course Jeremy Corbyn was raised by people
For being toxic.
But when you ask people why they weren't voting for Jeremy Corbyn or why they wouldn't vote for him, they couldn't give you an answer. And Jeremy is someone who's been smeared and attacked by the media ruthlessly for the last 4 years. It's not just me that says that, it's Loughborough University, it's the LSE, it's others. When they look at the media coverage of Jeremy and...
You think it's a media problem, do you?
I'm just saying there's actually reports and educational documents into this, and the bias against the Labour Party of Jeremy is clear.
Everyone who stands faces scrutiny, and I think Tony Blair would probably say he was smeared and attacked by the media when he was Prime Minister, and he's still got 3 terms in office.
In those marginal seats, there were letters after letters attacking Jeremy Corbyn in every way possible. I don't think we've ever seen a leader of a political party attacked in such a way that Jeremy Corbyn has put up with
even
for the last 4
today,
years.
he hasn't said, I'm going, I recognise that I'm the root cause of the problem, I've got to allow Labour to move on. Would you like him to go straight away and allow you to choose a new leader and try and start again?
No, I want us to take our time. The situation we're faced with now is 5 years in opposition. We need to reflect. I'm keen that
it could be 10 to
we learn
majority of that size.
many of these lessons, but let's not lay this just at Jeremy Corbyn's door.
Gavin, I wonder when you reflect on what happened overnight and you see what a different strategy Boris Johnson ran to the one that Theresa May ran, that obviously took you out of your seat in Battersea, whether you think that's a complete sea change now in how an election campaign is run.
So I don't know too well. I think first of all, if Theresa was sitting here, she would say the 2017 campaign was a disaster and the manifesto was wrong and the campaign wasn't right, and she takes responsibility for that. So that definitely is a difference, you can't deny that. But I don't think that's the biggest difference. And your correspondent earlier was saying the Conservative vote share in this election is 1 percentage point higher than she achieved in 2017. The big difference is the Labour vote share. And the reason for that, and I think Dan made one, I don't agree, I think Corbyn was a huge issue as well as Brexit. Right, but I do think he made one fair point, which is there are Labour MPs who won their seats in 2017 because of Jeremy Corbyn. So how do you explain that? And my answer would be that in 2017, although the Westminster bubble knew who Jeremy Corbyn was, the electorate didn't. And he had a good campaign, and he delivered didn't win, but a pretty good result for Labour. 2 years later, people know what they think of Jeremy Corbyn. And whilst it's definitely true that Brexit was a factor, that's why the results are much better for the Conservatives in the Midlands and the North. It is undeniable from all the accounts you hear from everybody right across the country that there are concerns about anti-Semitism, there are concerns about national security.
But because I want to hear from you about your party, because
Yes.
your party morphed into something different this time, and you have been a chief of staff, not an election campaign, but right next to a prime minister. I wonder whether you look at the way that this campaign happened. Would you have run that campaign? Would you have run a campaign that said to Boris Johnson, don't come off message, even if somebody asks you what your girlfriend wants for Christmas, just say the message, don't talk to the public, hide in a fridge rather than facing a camera, and dress up in photo ops rather than explaining things in a manner. Would you have been proud of that as a strategist?
So I think if you're involved in the strategy language, it's a really difficult balance to strike because you have to have message clarity. But one of the reasons he's won is he has managed to put together a coalition of people who passionately believe in what he's offering and want all this to happen, and others who maybe, like myself, campaign for Remain, but think people voted for this, it's a democracy, it should happen. And that Get Brexit Done slogan built that coalition. Now, on the other hand, voters do not like politicians not engaging in answering questions, and there's a real balance for anyone. When you're an active politician, you can't be being interviewed by you. How much do you actually engage in trying to answer the question, and how much are you trying to get your message across? And getting that balance,
he couldn't even be in the studios because he looked.
Yes, to get that balance right is a really difficult thing. So, I mean, like my experience when I was housing minister, you'd go on to talk about the housing white paper, and the interview would often focus on one little policy and needle away to try and make a point on one. And your job is to go on and try and sell the overall policy. That's the difficulty with politics communicating in the modern media. We have to engage with your questions. We want viewers to think we're trying to properly answer your questions. But we also have a story we're trying to tell. But we also have a story we're trying to tell.
Yeah.
And I think that's the balance you've got to get right. But if you judge it by results, this is a huge personal triumph for him, this election result, and you've got to give him credit for that.
Nigel Farage, the country has now voted for a Brexit deal that you hate.
Yeah, I think if you said to people what was in the deal, they'd be mortified. But look, we've got Brexit Austrian, 3.5 years on, a perception that Westminster is Remain, that they're against us, and you get a new Prime Minister comes along with, a bit more optimism, a bit more energy, who says he's going to get Brexit done. It's very tempting. I mean, look, I think from my perspective, and I've wanted this for 25 years, the nightmare would have been a second referendum. I just think that would have done the country enormous damage, and I did what I could in this campaign to try and stop that from happening. We are going to get Brexit. It'll probably be half a loaf, but we are actually going to get Brexit.
You're a strange beast, aren't you, Nigel? I mean, in the midst of all this, you would have thought you'd be the happiest man alive, but you're the one saying it's a terrible deal and I hate it. You have no power, you have no
I just said to you, I'm pleased with the result. I didn't want a second referendum. I think a Corbyn government would have been disastrous for the economy. I'm pleased with the result.
Why did you take down the rest of your MPs from standing if you were more passionate about getting something through? I mean, I don't understand how you're pleased with the result. It doesn't make sense either try and get a better one by standing more or take away all of them.
In the south of England and the southwest of England, where the Liberal Democrats were serious challenges to the Conservatives in many seats, in that part of the country, the vote we were going to take would have come from the
You
Conservatives.
don't think the Lib Dems were a threat overnight?
I think the Lib Dems would have won a lot of seats.
Without the Brexit Party?
I think the Liberal Democrats would have won a lot of seats in Surrey, Hampshire, Devon, Dorset, Cornwall, if we stood. I have no doubt about that. So the decision to stand down, I'm not happy with the deal. I make no bones about that. But I prefer to have Boris Johnson doing Brexit than a second referendum, and that's why I took the decision.
And we've seen the tweet from Donald Trump overnight. The United States will now be free to strike a massive new trade deal after Brexit. So should Labour be worried that everything is on the table? The edge is on the table,
That's
all
what
that
we
stuff?
dealt with. I mean, the whole Labour campaign,
But you're going,
so here's the problem. If we go through with Boris's deal as it is, there'll be no trade deal with America until at least 2023, if ever. And that's why how Boris does Brexit is very, very important. If we're too closely tied to the EU, there'll be no American deal.
Thank you all very much indeed. We go to Sedgefield now, which has a Conservative MP for the first time since 1931. You'll know it, of course, from the Tony Blair years. The BBC's Anna Foster is there for us, and this was one of those, I think, that we all wondered about as soon as the exit poll came out. Anna, what is the sense there today?
It is a sense people have woken up here, and there is a real sense of disbelief, I think, because this was, of course, Tony Blair's constituency. He won this seat in 1983. And just to give you an idea of the numbers, because they tell a really strong story, back in 1997, when there was that landslide Labour victory, Tony Blair had a Labour majority here of more than 25,000. Sedgefield has woken up this morning with a Conservative MP who has a majority of 4,500. It is incredible to think that not just this seat, but a whole swathe of the Tees Valley and parts of Durham, former coal mining areas, former steelwork areas like Redcar have turned Conservative. Now, Chris Lloyd is with me, a veteran reporter from the Northern Echo, the local newspaper here, and we were just talking, Chris, about the way that this was absolute Labour heartland country. This is where Tony Blair, at the peak of his power, brought George Bush, the US president. It didn't get bigger than that.
No, this was his power base, really, and it was it helped him shape what became New Labour, very similar to where we are now, where the left-wing Labour Party in 1983 falling to enormous defeat, and this area helped him rediscover what Labour meant for traditional kind of working class communities. And it became the focus of world attention here. We even had George Bush visiting just down there to the pub, the Dunk Out for fish and chips. It was an amazing day where we had armed police on all of these roofs around here, and I was lucky enough to be the only journalist in the pub to witness that.
And if somebody had tapped you on the shoulder that day and said, in 2019, Sedgefield will have a Conservative MP, it's hard to believe.
It is hard to believe, but times are changing. I think it's very interesting what it says about almost about the mindset of the Tees Valley, of the North East. There's kind of been a tidal wave of Toryism sweeping down the Tees Valley, but people are now have always been looking for a reason not to vote for Labour. They couldn't vote for the Conservatives because generations would spin in their graves. But now the mindset is beginning to move on. We're no longer defined by the past. We're no longer defined by being former coal mining, former steel making. We do have modern industries, digital industries, and so that has kind of come into the way they're voting.
Yeah, it's a real change, and not just here in Sedgefield, replicated right across the North East. A big night for the Conservatives here, a disastrous night for Labour.
Anna, thank you very much indeed. Anna there for us in Sedgefield. Now a Conservative gain. Well, let's get reaction from the city. Our business editor Simon Jack is at an investment bank in London's Canary Wharf. There are all sorts of hijinks that the pound was meant to have been doing yesterday on a result we still didn't know. What's it doing today, Simon? How are things?
The markets gave Boris Johnson a round of applause in their own way. The pound was very significantly higher overnight on the publication of that Brexit poll. And this morning, when the stock markets opened, politically sensitive shares like banks, utilities, the building companies, they all went rocketing up into double digits in some cases. So I've got Fabrice Montaigne here, the chief UK economist here at Barclays, and explain to us why the markets are giving such a cheer this morning.
Yes, good morning. I think much of what we're seeing this morning has to do with the fact that we have been able to peel away one layer of uncertainty. You know, what businesses tell us is that they can't operate when rules constantly change. And their questions have partly been answered today. We have a functioning government in a functioning parliament that has the mandate to take the UK out of the EU. So that would allow some businesses to re-engage with the economy.
But you've got a mandate to deliver a Brexit that most businesses don't want, and also most investors are quite nervous about.
Absolutely, but make no mistake, nobody is saying here Brexit is good news. I guess what the markets are expressing is that an orderly Brexit is better than a disorderly Brexit. Where you're getting at is that very quickly in the course of next year, as we start negotiating trade agreements and we move closer to the deadline, businesses will be asking the questions, so now what? How will we be able to trade after that?
Great, thank you very much indeed, Fabrice. He's now got the time and the power to do whatever he wants, and some people are thinking he'll pivot. Maybe it gives him the licence to pursue Brexit however he sees fit.
Simon, thank you very much indeed. Simon Jack in the city there for us now. Good morning. You join us live at Westminster, where the Conservatives have won their biggest majority since 1987. It is 10 o'clock, and as you join us live at Westminster, the Conservatives have won their biggest majority since 1987. Boris Johnson's gamble to hold a December election has paid off with a majority of 78. The Prime Minister called it...
this majority, we will at last be able to do what?
Prime Minister is now inside number 10, having pledged to earn the support of people who, in his words, may have lent him their vote. An awful night for Labour, losing 59 seats, many of them in places the party has held for decades. Jeremy Corbyn said the results were very disappointing.
I want to also make it clear that I will not lead the party in any future general election campaign. I will discuss with our party to ensure there is a process now.
How did he pull it off? Boris Johnson's here inside number 10, savouring the moment, preparing for government for the next 5 years.
And we're live at Buckingham Palace, awaiting the arrival of Boris Johnson here a little bit later this morning when he comes to formally ask the Queen for permission to form the next government. Liberal Democrat leader Jo Swinson quits after she loses her own seat to the SNP and the party fails to improve its position at Westminster.
For millions of people in our country, these results will bring dread and dismay, and people are looking for hope.
A strong result for the SNP, who now hold 48 seats out of the 59 in Scotland. Nicola Sturgeon says it sends a clear message for a second independence referendum.
That independence referendum that was very much at the heart of the SNP's campaign. There is a renewed, refreshed, strengthened mandate for that.
We're delving deep into the numbers. We're going to look at Scotland in the next hour on another fantastic night for the SNP. And what did go wrong for the Liberal Democrats? So much optimism 5 weeks ago, and yet they could finish in a worse position than they were in 2017.
On our giant map, each constituency has been made exactly the same size. One hexagon for one MP, and it really shows the balance of power. Labour's red wall dramatically shrunk, and Scotland has gone SNP yellow.
Well, the result of the election means big change in the House of Commons and for the country. The UK will now leave the European Union by the end of next month. We'll be speaking to the main parties and we'll bring you all the events and the reaction from here throughout the day.